Great North Woods to the Rockland Coast and streaming live in HD worldwide at foxbangor.com. More people choose Good Morning Maine.
Hello, everyone. Today on Good Morning Maine, we'll take you to Portsmouth, where Vice President Kamala Harris had big news for small businesses yesterday. Plus, we caught up with first responders who responded to a childbirth on the side of a road in Dover Foxcroft, and a rare glimpse inside a once beautiful mansion in Frankfort that has a chance to be saved before it crumbles to the ground. Good morning, everyone. I'm Craig Colson. Emma Smith has the day off, but we will be hearing from her coming up a little later on in the broadcast. We thank you for joining us. We're going to kick things off with a check of the forecast, and it's turning out to be a beautiful morning out there in the state of Maine, and it looks like that's what the day holds for us. In fact, the next couple of days look really great for this time of year. For more on what we can expect, let's turn things over to Conrad Sapinski.
All right, we're back in the 50s out there for this morning. Of course, it is Thursday. Weekend is knocking on our door. We are looking at overall, though, some low to mid 50s all over the state. Rockland is at 51 degrees. That's a little bit more of that cooler spot compared to all the other locations in and around town. Now, overall, though, just a few passing clouds. We are dry for our start to our Thursday. We're going to continue to stay dry throughout the day today with an abundant amount of sunshine. So get ready. It is going to be a really nice day out there. Temperatures around 80 degrees as well. Now, we've seen lots of cloud cover, but then the last couple of days, not so much. On Tuesday, only 10% of cloud cover. Wednesday, 30% of cloud cover. So yes, we've seen that sunshine. Hopefully, you've been out and about enjoying the summer weather. Now, overall, though, very, very calm winds. Pretty much non-existent here in town. You got to go all the way up north into the Millinocket area just to get a light breeze at 3 miles per hour. Augusta as well. You are seeing a 5-mile-per-hour sustained wind gusts right around 10 miles per hour. For today, though, temperatures around 80 degrees, lots of sunshine, a little bit more of a gusty wind out of the southwest, gusting up to 20 miles per hour. Now, for tonight, though, we're going to be a little bit cooler. Temperatures right around 50, mostly clear skies, some patchy fog in the area, a light breeze. For tomorrow, though, a bit cooler as well. We're looking at mostly sunny skies, temperatures right around average, around 74, 75 degrees, and some breezy conditions with that wind out of the southeast. Our hour-by-hour forecast is showing the sunshine in the forecast. Temperatures around 80 degrees.
All right, thank you, Conrad. We'll see you later on with your full forecast. Well, Vice President Kamala Harris was in the Granite State yesterday, rallying supporters and announcing her new economic plan. Our Augusta reporter, Corey Bouchard, was also there and has the story.
It was an energetic and defiant crowd as Vice President Kamala Harris spoke and delivered one clear, defining message. Not going back to a Trump White House was the chant of the day here in New Hampshire. Vice President Harris began her speech by going off script and sharing her thoughts on Wednesday's school shooting in Georgia.
And it's just outrageous that every day in our country, in the United States of America, that parents have to send their children to school worried about whether or not their child will come home alive.
Vice President Harris turned to the focus of her visit, unveiling her new economic plan.
And my vision of an opportunity economy is one where everyone can compete and have a real chance to succeed.
Harris says one of the main points of her plan is to increase the number of small businesses. Now, according to Harris, it takes around $40,000 to start a business, something she plans to tackle.
My plan is we will expand the tax deduction for startups to $50,000.
Another part of her plan is raising up the middle class and making billionaires and corporations pay what she says is their fair share.
Because here's the thing, it's just not right that those who can most afford it are often paying a lower tax rate than our teachers and our nurses and our firefighters. It's just not right. It's just not right.
Vice President Harris will now continue her journey across the country with her 50-stop reproductive rights bus tour. In Northampton, New Hampshire, I'm Corey Bouchard for HC7 and Fox 22 News.
And we'll be hearing from Donald Trump and have more from the campaign trail coming up a little later on in the broadcast. Well, in other news this morning, a union man is in jail after allegedly assaulting hospital staff on 2 separate occasions. According to Rockport Police Sergeant James Moore, 56-year-old Webster Robinson was being treated at Penn Bay Medical Center on August 28th when he attempted to leave the hospital against the advice of medical staff. Robinson allegedly punched a nurse in the throat when she tried to assist him. Robinson was then taken to the Knox County Jail and released the same day after posting bail. Later on that day, Robinson returned to the hospital for a separate medical issue. Sergeant Moore says Robinson again became agitated and pulled out his IV line. Robinson allegedly attempted to smear blood on a hospital worker, telling the worker he was an intravenous drug user. He also allegedly threatened to stab 2 staff members with that IV needle. Sergeant Moore says Robinson was arrested and taken back to jail. He's now charged with 2 counts of criminal threatening with a dangerous weapon, attempted assault, and also violating the conditions of his release. A traffic stop in Bangor leads to an arrest on drug charges. Sergeant Jason McCambly with Bangor PD says 36-year-old Aaron Coker of Waterville was a passenger in a car that was stopped for a traffic violation back on September 3rd. McCambly says Coker declined to positively identify himself, and after the stop was completed and they released the vehicle, the officer identified him using a recent mugshot. McCambly says police then caught up to the vehicle once again as it was entering a homeless encampment known as Camp Hope and arrested Coker on an outstanding warrant. When Coker was taken to jail, they also discovered he was concealing drugs. So in addition to the warrant, he's now facing several charges, including aggravated trafficking of scheduled drugs and possession of drugs. An Augusta man charged with manslaughter petitioned to have his bail reduced in court yesterday. 42-year-old Warren Seidlinger confessed to punching 57-year-old Joseph McKenna in the face. Back in July, McKenna fell backward and hit his head on the pavement and died from his injuries 2 weeks later. Assistant Attorney General Jennifer Ackerman said video surveillance captured the assault on tape.
Then as Mr. McKenna lay on the ground, Mr. Seidlinger walks away, comes back, and then is seen kicking Mr. McKenna in the head at least once, if not twice.
I do not believe he poses a danger to the public in general.
The medical examiner's office found the victim had a fractured skull and a brain bleed. His death ruled a homicide. Seidlinger's bail was not reduced yesterday. It remains at $15,000 cash. Investigators are still looking for the cause of a devastating fire in Jay this week. A fire swept through an apartment building Tuesday night, which injured 3 firefighters and left at least 10 people without a home. Officials say the fire destroyed the 3-story apartment building, a nearby workshop, and 2 vehicles that were parked outside belonging to tenants. Luckily, everyone made it out safe, and the Red Cross is now helping the tenants with their immediate needs. 3 firefighters who received minor injuries were also treated and released. Fire investigators were expected to be back at the scene yesterday to search for a cause of that terrible fire. A Maine State Police trooper and a K-9 unit escaped a crash after crashing a cruiser, and then it became engulfed in flames. Sergeant Jonathan Russell was traveling on Route 26 in Oxford just after 11 Tuesday night when he attempted to pull over a vehicle for speeding. The vehicle turned off Route 26 and drove down Rabbit Valley Road. Russell attempted to pursue it with his lights and sirens on, but was unfamiliar with the road and crashed while trying to make it around a corner. Russell and his K-9 Preacher were able to exit before it became engulfed in flames, and the ammunition in the back also exploded. Russell suffered just minor injuries attributed to the airbag, and the K-9 unit Preacher was uninjured. The Penobscot County Commissioners are considering a food sovereignty ordinance, which would allow residents of the unorganized territories to sell food on the side of the road without a license. Grace Blanchard with more.
It's not a municipal service, it's a political statement, basically.
It has economic impact.
In the latest Penobscot County Commissioners meeting, the commissioners went back and forth over a proposed food sovereignty ordinance.
These people have asked to have this ordinance in place so that they can sell stuff and not be against state law.
According to the director of the Penobscot County Unorganized Territory Administration, multiple residents have requested action be taken to allow them to sell food directly to the public without restriction. Currently, they are required to have a license and inspection from the Maine Department of Agriculture, Conservation, and Forestry.
We purposely wrote it to only encompass the unorganized territory on every paragraph, every line, every statement.
An expansion of the 2017 State Food Sovereignty Act allows municipalities to pass ordinances, but Buswell said he believes Penobscot would be the first county to do so.
I don't think it's a place for the county to have to say where they weigh in on this issue.
Commissioner Marshall disagreed with Commissioner Baldacci's remarks, saying it is the responsibility of the county to provide municipal services to unorganized territories.
I think this seeks clarity, and I see nothing untoward about it.
The proposal is now awaiting legal review before a public hearing can be scheduled. In studio, Grace Blanchard, ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
Toxic fire-suppressing foam at the Bangor Airport Fire Station will be replaced this week with an alternative that does not contain harmful chemicals. According to Maine National Guard Public Affairs Officer Captain Nick Erickson, the new fluorine-free foam arrived at the Maine Air Guard base at BIA last week. The new foam is in compliance with the National Defense Authorization Act of 2020 and does not contain forever chemicals. The delivery comes just weeks after a foam containing dangerous PFAS chemicals was accidentally discharged at the Brunswick Executive Airport. Departments use the foam to smother fires from flammable liquids. According to Captain Erickson, fire officials at BIA, they performed weekly tests to ensure their systems are leak-free, and he says the toxic foam will be taken care of by a waste management agency to make sure it is disposed of properly. All right, the time now, 8:11. Coming up next on Good Morning Maine, an unexpected delivery on the side of a road in Dover Foxcroft. That's where a baby wasn't waiting for the ride to the hospital to come into the world. We'll have the story coming up. But first, another check of that weather forecast. A beautiful sunny day ahead today with highs near 80 degrees. Mostly clear overnight, although some areas may see some patchy fog out there. Lows dropping down to around 50. Tomorrow, another sunny one on the way with highs near 74. We'll be right back.
Maine Paving is Eastern and Central Maine's go-to for all things paving. Maine Paving specializes in commercial and residential paving, grading, seal coating, and crack filling. And get this, refer someone that schedules a job and receive a $250 Visa gift card, currently booking for this year.
You bought your Toyota because Toyota is the longest lasting brand. You put your trust in Toyota's reputation for quality. Now put your trust in Toyota-trained certified technicians who install genuine Toyota parts to help keep your Toyota a Toyota. Contact your New England Toyota dealer today to learn about affordable September service offers that feature genuine Toyota parts. Trust the experts at Toyota Service Centers and keep your Toyota a Toyota.
Are your basement walls bowing, crumbling, or failing? Hi, I'm Tony Hafford with TC Hafford Basement Systems, all things basementy. Our Stable Lock wall system offers a patented, affordable, and permanent solution to save your foundation walls. It stabilizes, fills voids, and structurally repairs, leaving a new smooth surface. All the strength of new walls. Call TC Hafford Basement Systems today for all things basementy.
Maine Paving is Eastern and Central Maine's go-to for all things paving. Maine Paving specializes in commercial and residential paving, grading, seal coating, and crack filling. And get this, refer someone that schedules a job and receive a $250 Visa gift card, currently booking for this year.
Major League Baseball on Fox.
Hey, what I'm doing, getting right to it. The money is talking, I'm flowing, it's coming in, just I do it. Yeah, can't stop, won't stop.
Jaw-dropping stuff. Major League Baseball all season long on Fox.
Welcome back, everyone. Emergency responders are tasked with answering a wide array of calls for service, and that was certainly the case for the Dover Foxcroft Fire Department on Tuesday. Doug Banks tells us about the special delivery.
Happened to be at the right place at the right time.
On Tuesday at around 1 o'clock in the afternoon, the Dover Foxcroft Fire Department responded to a call on the side of Route 15 here behind me, around 5 miles away from the middle of town. And that call wasn't one that they usually get.
We were sitting at the table, it was our lunch break, and we got toned out to the Bangor Road for possible childbirth.
The department's chief, assistant chief, and several EMS personnel responded to the car parked on Route 15.
The patient had already delivered the baby. The biggest thing is making sure the baby's doing well, which this baby was. It was pink and happy and crying when we got there. And then you shift your focus to the mother to make sure she was doing all right. They said both were doing really well.
The department says an ambulance from Northern Light Mayo Hospital arrived shortly thereafter and transported them to the hospital. With 20-plus years of experience, Assistant Chief and EMS Director Amelia says Tuesday wasn't the first time he's responded to that type of call.
Yes, I've delivered babies before. It's just another day.
However, for firefighter and advanced EMT Carter Merrill,
The first time that I've ever actually seen a live birth. Certainly got the heart racing, but I was with 3 or 4 guys that had been doing this longer than I've been alive, so it was a really good crew to work with, and everything went smoothly.
Merrill says he hasn't thought about how he and the department are forever intertwined with that family's story, but says
you can look back and at least smile knowing that everything went good.
In Dover Foxcroft, Doug Banks, ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
Something that they will never forget, I'm sure. Well, it's no secret that Maine draws folks from all over who come to enjoy our beautiful coastline, the tranquil woods and lakes, and of course the endless food options, no matter where you are in the state. Those visitors often include celebrities, especially this time of year, and that was the case at the Juicery in Kittery. They enjoyed a visit from Jason Bourne himself. Yes, that's right. Acclaimed actor and one of our favorite action stars, Matt Damon, stopped into the Juicery in Kittery for a refreshing beverage and also took time to snap some pics with the staff there over the Labor Day weekend. The business posting about the visit, we are not sure what smoothie or beverage he ordered, but the action star is clearly staying healthy. Take a look at him. Got to keep yourself in shape when you're responsible for bringing Jason Bourne to life. Nice to see he also took some time out to hang around in Kittery and maybe talk with some of the locals as well. Hopefully he had a great visit here to the state of Maine, not too far from his home state of Massachusetts. Well, the time now, 8:17, coming up after the break. A once beautiful mansion in Frankfort has fallen into disrepair, but there's now hope that a new owner will restore it. Emma Smith will take us on a special tour inside, plus the latest on that deadly school shooting down in Florida that left at least 4 people dead. The details as Good Morning Maine continues.
Fall in love with your home again with Acclaim replacement windows from Renewal by Andersen. Do you have broken, drafty, or high maintenance windows? We've got you covered. From consultation to installation, our Acclaim windows made with exclusive Fibrex composite material outperform traditional wood, aluminum, or vinyl. For reliable window and door replacement, choose Renewal by Andersen, the better way to a better window.
Let your creativity run free at the Creative Arts Center, where we offer fun and affordable activities for all ages. Birthday parties, pottery wheel classes, painting lessons, or just for the fun of it. Get fired up for glazing projects as well as acrylics. We offer a wide selection of ceramic products for you to choose from, and we have thousands of pieces ready to paint. We are a Paragon kiln dealer and a Laguna Clay distributor. Stop by the Creative Arts Center today, located just off the Joshua Chamberlain Bridge in Brewer. The Creative Arts Center, where your only limitation is your imagination.
Are you experiencing foot pain? Comfort Shoes & More has a team of experts trained in pet orthotics to help you find relief. They offer tailored fittings, shoe modifications, customized orthotics, and much more for the ordinary or for the hard-to-fit foot, with fashionable and functional footwear from today's top brands: Hoka, Brooks, Keen, Teva, Taos, Ufus, and Birkenstocks. From running to walking, casual or dress, they have it all. Take the drive to Newport for a sit and fit to find your perfect fit. You and your feet will be glad you did.
25 words or less.
I'll take Chan Chan Tay Tay, as we call him.
All his close buddies call him that.
Taking wordplay.
Oyster. You're so shellfish.
To the next level.
Medicine serving.
Dose. Every weekday.
Together with Corbin, you rocked it. You're going home with $10,000.
Weekdays at 9 on Fox 22.
At a junction on Route 1A, there's a small town in Maine with a decaying house that stands as a testament to the past. And as Emma Smith reports, the Franklin Treat Mansion will need a lot of work to ever be livable again.
A memory of grandeur, but now standing strong, albeit strikingly dilapidated, this once elegant home is up for sale again, this time at just under 80 grand. So this is kind of the house of Frankfurt.
Yeah, definitely. It's the only one that's left in this architectural design, which is mansard.
Looking quite different now, the 160-year-old building has sustained a lot of water damage, brutalizing it on all floors. Michelle Crissell, a Frankfurt resident who has extensively researched the home, tells me about it.
You know, it's a story. It's like when I tell people where I live, they always say, "What's up with that house?"
The home has rapidly fallen into disrepair the past few years, reflecting days gone by in Frankfurt. Its last steward, a man named Dana, did what he could for the home, hosting regular infamous yard sales within its walls and on its porch.
We'd often say, "Oh, abandoned for 20 years, but today you can come in," and people loved that, you know.
But when Dana passed in 2022, the house had to be abandoned again and fell into further disrepair. Anyone who buys it will have a decision to make. But to save it, first you'd have to
fix the roof, because that's the funnel that's putting all of the water into the third, second, first floor, and even into the basement.
Fix the roof and then everything else. In Frankfurt for ABC7 and Fox 22, I'm Emma Smith.
Boy, I've admired that home for a lot of years. Hopefully somebody with deep pockets will come in there and maybe save that treasure. Otherwise, it's going to eventually crumble to the ground. All right, the time now, 8:21. Let's get a full look at our weather forecast.
All right, we started out the morning back in the 50s out there for today. Rockland around 51, that was your cooler spot. Then by Bar Harbor around 53. Machias, you once again tied with Rockland for today, one of the cooler temps back in those lower 50s. Now, average highs, let's talk about that, right? Should be right around 75 degrees. So for today, we're going to be well above average, close to 80. Nice and toasty tomorrow, closer to average, which is Friday, weekend, knocking on our door. Speaking of the weekend, temperatures around 70 degrees right into Monday. By Tuesday into Wednesday, finally, things will start to warm up, and we're talking low to mid 70s, making a massive return back in our forecast. Now, the south, once again, is seeing those scattered showers in their region, even a couple of thunderstorms, but non-severe, which is a good sign. Florida, look at that, close to Orlando, Tampa as well. You're looking at some scattered showers. None of that will be in our area. For us, we got to wait up until Saturday to get some showers in our forecast into Sunday as well. So we have a couple more days of nice weather. Of course, into today, into tomorrow, we are in the clear. And then lots of rain, especially off the coast. You see all these colors? That's indicating some even moderate to heavy rainfall. But most of this will be off the coast and in the ocean. Now, rainfall-wise, though, not much the next 5 days. Maybe up to 1/10 of an inch of rain all over the area. Other than that, most of that rain will be well offshore. Now, take a look at this. See all these colors, these blue-purple colors indicating well over an inch of rain in some spots, and a lot more than that right off our coast. Now, muggy meter, pretty comfortable out there for today, right through Friday, even through Saturday. It's going to be a bit comfortable, starting to rise slightly by Sunday morning, but no worries, it'll go right back down into comfortable levels, and that will continue to stick around Monday into that Tuesday time frame. Now, UV index for today, once again, it's going to be at a 6, which is a high. Average skin will begin to burn around 30 minutes, so please be careful out there. Of course, we've seen a much worse UV indexes in the past. We are at the end of summer, but still, it is summer and that UV index is at a high. Now, speaking of that UV index for today, that's because it's going to be sunny and temperatures around 80 degrees. We will see a little bit more of a gusty wind out of the south-southwest up to even 20 miles per hour. For tonight, though, around 50 degrees, mostly clear skies, some patchy fog in the area, just a light breeze. For tomorrow, though, a bit cooler. Mid-70s outside, closer to average, mostly sunny skies, a little bit of a breezy condition. Not too bad, nothing to worry about. Our extended forecast outlook is showing a few sprinkles out there for Saturday. More of that heavier rain will be Saturday night into Sunday.
This is your reminder to thank the friend who gets McDonald's breakfast for the group while everyone else sleeps in.
Don't sleep on a classic breakfast. Get a sausage McMuffin with egg for $2.50.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
You're way shorter than I thought you'd be. There's a shirtless selfie of me by the dumbbells. Here I am. I do air drumming. I'm a competitive air drummer.
Oh, wow.
By the way, I forgot my wallet at home, so sugar mama.
Will you excuse me?
The Hyundai Tucson with advanced tech and safety features. There's joy in every journey. Get 1.99% APR for 60 months on the Hyundai Tucson or Tucson Hybrid. Visit your local Hyundai dealer today.
With the Planet Fitness Black Card, you don't just get a great workout, you get a great perk out. For $1 down and $24.99 a month, you'll get perks like access to any of our 2,400 clean and spacious locations. Bring a friend anytime in both workouts with tons of equipment that'll give you that big fitness energy. And relax in the Black Card Spa for a pampered perk. Work out and perk out with the PF Black Card. Join for just $1 down and $24.99 a month.
Join for just $1 down. Deal ends September 12th, so sign up today.
Taking the time to savor Thomas's crunchy yet soft bagels.
Thanks, Tom.
It's Tom, actually. Right, Tom. Tom. You doing that on purpose?
Tam.
Tam. How have we got to Tam? Huzzah! A toast to breakfast.
I'm adding Downy Unstoppables to my wash. Now I'll be smelling fresh all day long. Still fresh. Still fresh!
Still fresh! With Downy Unstoppables, you just toss, wash, wow. For all-day freshness.
If you have to ask why it's important to start your day early, here's your answer.
Get any size iced coffee in any flavor for just $1.29 during breakfast hours.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Now to the deadly school shooting at a Georgia high school. New details about possible missed red flags around the alleged 14-year-old gunman accused of killing 4 people, including 2 students his own age. ABC's M. Wynn has more.
This morning, shock and sadness in the wake of another school shooting in America, this time in Georgia. 2 teachers and 2 students now dead after a 14-year-old gunman opened fire at Appalachia High School. Investigators uncovering new details about the alleged gunman, saying agents received tips in May of last year about threats to commit a school shooting, determining that the threats came from then 13-year-old Colt Gray.
Sadly, this is a pretty common occurrence with mass attackers.
The FBI saying the father stated he had hunting guns in the house, but that his son did not have unsupervised access to them, adding there was no probable cause for agents to take action against him. Authorities believe the teen acted alone on Wednesday using an AR-style rifle to open fire inside the school.
Let's move with purpose, come on.
Students scrambling for shelter in classrooms and eventually the football stadium.
A lot of people were crying. It was like everybody was scared. People were screaming, calling their moms and everything.
School resource officers engaged within minutes. Authorities say the suspect gave up immediately. The community now mourning those who were killed. Students Mason Skirmahorn and Christian Angulo, both 14, and teachers Richard Aspinwall and Christina Irimi.
This is everybody's worst nightmare.
This marks at least the 45th school shooting this year in the U.S. and the deadliest. Last night, hundreds gathered at a candlelight vigil near the school.
I still don't believe this is real.
President Biden saying lives were cut short due to senseless gun violence. Again, calling on Congress to pass more gun control, like banning assault weapons. Meanwhile, 9 other victims are in the hospital. All are expected to be okay. M. Wynn, ABC News, Washington.
Well, we have new details about next week's presidential debate that will air on ABC. The rules have now been announced, just as Vice President Harris and former President Trump visited 2 swing states, Trump holding a town hall in Pennsylvania. M. Wynn also has that story from the campaign trail.
In just 5 days, former President Trump and Vice President Harris will take the debate stage. And now ABC News clarifying that the candidates' microphones will be muted when it's not their turn to speak. They won't be allowed to bring any notes with them, and they won't be allowed to question each other during the debate. Overnight, Trump fielding questions at a Fox News town hall in Pennsylvania, painting a dark picture of the current state of the nation and blaming the Biden administration.
With these clowns that you have in there now, you're going to end up having World War III. If she gets in, I think we will have a depression.
Trump taking aim at Harris's economic plan.
If you let the Trump tax cuts expire, you will suffer the biggest tax increase in history.
Harris in New Hampshire unveiled more economic proposals, including how she plans to help more Americans start small businesses.
Part of my plan is we will expand the tax deduction for startups to $50,000.
Harris is also proposing a lower tax on capital gains than President Biden proposed.
We know when the government encourages investment, it leads to broad-based economic growth.
The current maximum tax rate on capital gains is 23.8%. Harris is pitching a 28% rate. President Biden has called for nearly 40%. Meanwhile, Harris has picked up an endorsement from a high-profile Republican, former Congresswoman Liz Cheney, who has railed against Trump for his alleged role in the January 6th riot.
Because of the danger that Donald Trump poses, not only am I not voting for Donald Trump, but I will be voting for Kamala Harris.
M. Wynn, ABC News, Washington.
A small asteroid that was on a collision course with Earth has safely disintegrated above the Philippines. The space rock, which measured about 3 feet across, was spotted by astronomers before it began breaking up over the Pacific Ocean. It is only the 9th asteroid that humans have spotted before impact. According to the European Space Agency, asteroids about that size target Earth every 2 weeks or so, but they don't pose any danger. In this case, it created a brilliant light show before impacting with the planet. Well, coming up on the second half of our newscast, a man in Maine has found a Rembrandt painting in his attic that just sold for over $1 million. We'll have the details coming up on Good Morning Maine.
Tell the insurance company you mean business. Call Joe Bornstein, right now.
Call the firm that has been getting justice for Mainers for 50 years. If you've been injured in an accident, call Joe.
Your favorite restaurants were half off. It's half off dining from Fox 22 and ABC 7. Go to foxbangor.com, click on half off dining, and start saving now.
Mossy Ledge Spirits is a true hidden gem in Etna. Located just 3 miles off I-95, exit 167, we are home to tastings, tours, cocktails, to-go drinks, bottles, live music, and priceless memories. So enjoy some pizza and raise a glass here at Mossy Ledge Spirits.
Great restaurants from all over Eastern Maine at half off dining from Fox 22 and ABC 7.
I was rear-ended at a stop sign. Never saw it coming.
If you or a loved one has been injured in an accident, call Joe for a free case evaluation.
They really do mean business.
Dial 207-CALL-JOE or online at joebornstein.com.
You're watching Fox 22, Bangor.
Welcome back, everyone. Today is Thursday, September 5th, 2024. There are 56 days until Halloween, 111 days until Christmas, in case you're keeping track. You can also pick the holiday that you wish to celebrate today. Not only is it National Cheese Pizza Day, but also National Be Late for Something Day. So if you're late for work or late for school or something, you can just tell them that you're observing the holiday. On this day in history, back in 1698, Russia's Peter the Great imposed a tax on beards. He wanted Russians to go beardless like the modern Western Europeans and imposed a tax on those who resisted the call to shave them off. In 1774, the first session of the U.S. Continental Congress convened in Philadelphia. The delegates drafted a Declaration of Rights and Grievances and organized the Continental Association. In 1882, the first U.S. Labor Day Parade was held in New York City. And in 1930, Charles Creighton and James Hagris completed the drive from New York to Los Angeles and then back again, all while driving that car in reverse. Much of it was done on unpaved roads, and they never turned the car off during the journey, even when they stopped for a rest. The trip ended up taking about 42 days in their Ford Model A. In 1960, Cassius Clay of Kentucky won the gold medal in light heavyweight boxing at the Olympic Games in Rome. Clay later changed his name to Muhammad Ali and became one of the most successful boxers of all time. In 1972, a Palestinian group called Black September attacked the Israeli delegation at the Summer Games in Munich. 11 Israelis, 5 guerrillas, and a police officer were killed in that siege that has become known as the Munich Massacre. 1983, the MacNeil-Lehrer NewsHour on public broadcasting became the first hour-long network news show. And finally, in 1992, a General Motors strike ended with a new agreement that was approved by nearly 43,000 auto workers who had walked off the job. Today's birthdays include actress Rose McGowan, who is 51 today, former New England Patriots quarterback Mac Jones is 26, and actor Michael Keaton is 73 years old today. Still out there acting and making some great movies, too. All right, we're going to turn things back over to Conrad now for a check of the forecast. Looking really nice for today, heading right into the weekend.
All right, we're back in the 50s out there for this morning. Of course, it is Thursday. Weekend is knocking on our door. We are looking at overall, though, some low to mid 50s all over the state. Rockland is at 51 degrees. That's a little bit more of that cooler spot compared to all the other locations in and around town. Now, overall, though, just a few passing clouds. We are dry for our start to our Thursday. We're going to continue to stay dry throughout the day today with an abundant amount of sunshine. So get ready. It is going to be a really nice day out there. Temperatures around 80 degrees as well. Now, we've seen lots of cloud cover, but then the last couple of days, not so much. On Tuesday, only 10% of cloud cover. Wednesday, 30% of cloud cover. So yes, we've seen that sunshine. Hopefully, you've been out and about enjoying the summer weather. Now, overall, though, very, very calm winds. Pretty much non-existent here in town. You got to go all the way up north into the Millinocket area just to get a light breeze at 3 miles per hour. Augusta as well. You are seeing a 5-mile-per-hour sustained wind gusts right around 10 miles per hour. For today, though, temperatures around 80 degrees, lots of sunshine, a little bit more of a gusty wind out of the southwest, gusting up to 20 miles per hour. Now, for tonight, though, we're going to be a little bit cooler. Temperatures right around 50, mostly clear skies, some patchy fog in the area, a light breeze. For tomorrow, though, a bit cooler as well. We're looking at mostly sunny skies, temperatures right around average, around 74, 75 degrees, and some breezy conditions with that wind out of the southeast. Our hour-by-hour forecast is showing the sunshine in the forecast. Temperatures around 80 degrees.
All right, thank you, Conrad. A historic painting by the Dutch master Rembrandt is now being rehoused after it was discovered at a home right here in Maine. This 17th century painting, stowed away in a house in Camden, sold for more than $1 million at a recent auction. The painting, titled Portrait of a Girl, was discovered by an art appraiser and auctioneer in the attic of a home in Camden. A label on the back of the frame noted that it was once loaned to the Philadelphia Museum of Art for an exhibition in 1970.
Usually they're found in Europe, because that's where most of them were. But this one made its way to America and in a farmhouse, and there it is. We found it. Not many people paint like Rembrandt, for one thing. And there's one of the trademarks of the Rembrandt paintings and the Dutch masters is this, what I call a ribbon candy collar. It's all like this.
Well, Rembrandt, born in 1606, was a prolific artist who focused on a variety of subjects, from portraits to landscapes to historical and biblical scenes. Portrait of a Girl was painted on an oak panel and mounted in a hand-carved gold Dutch frame. A European collector recently paid $1.4 million for that painting. What an interesting story. They had gone to that house just to do a routine appraisal for an estate sale, and they ended up finding that treasure up in that hot attic. All right, when we come back, Tyler Cruz with all the day's sports news. We'll also meet our Pet of the Week. Don't go away.
He made a living with his hands. My Pepe's 82, and his success is the story of America. I'm Austin Terrio. Most folks I talk to just want lower costs, cheaper gas and electricity, and the certainty of Social Security. They want more balance and less extremism in Washington, and that's exactly what I'll bring. I know where I came from and what Maine can be. I'm Austin Terrio, and I approve this message.
Hammond Lumber Company has been a trusted partner of professional contractors, do-it-yourselfers, and homeowners for generations. It's the level of trust that Hammond Lumber has earned by providing an extensive selection of products and materials from industry-leading suppliers with guidance and support through every stage of any project. including delivery of materials throughout Maine and New Hampshire. Hammond Lumber Company is, has been, and will always be your building project partner.
We are explorers, hard workers, the jack of all trades. We are Mainers. Maine Quit Link provides free nicotine quit medication, including gum, patches, and lozenges. No insurance needed, no copay, and no cost to Mainers. Because quitting tobacco with a little extra help is more successful than quitting on your own. Quit like a Mainer. Enroll online at MaineQuitLink.com or call 1-800-QUIT-NOW.
Central Maine Barns and Sheds, quality products built right here in Newport with a strong attention to detail. We have an incredible selection of pre-made options and would be more than happy to custom build a unit specifically for you. Central Maine Barns and Sheds has financing options available, including a rent-to-own program. We provide free delivery and setup within a 30-mile radius of any of our locations. Check out our full inventory at centralmainbarns.com or call for more information, 368-6177.
Quinn Ewers in Texas head to the legendary Big House. It's Big Noon Saturday on Fox.
Welcome back in, everyone. Thank you for staying with us. We begin in Orono as Maine football prepares for third-ranked Montana State, where Maine transfer running back Jahari Martin will be in familiar territory. Jack Webb has the story.
I was just getting back to having fun. That's the biggest thing.
For graduate transfer running back Jahari Martin, that fun included 66 yards and a touchdown in his first game as a Black Bear.
First game back in a few years, so I mean, obviously I want more, but that I think I was talking to a guy earlier in the week, and they said I might have more yardage and carries in that one game that I did my whole career, which turned out to be true.
Martin has been a great addition to the Maine offense. The 6-foot, 225-pound back has helped Maine pound the rock and elevate their level of toughness.
He's brought like a business-like approach to what he does, and I think that's really been great, a level of maturity to playing football, preparing, practicing. You know, I love his physicality. His physical nature is really important to our run game, important to our team. There were some moments in the spring game I just looked at, really thought, wow, he changes the physicality of the offense.
Maine travels to FCS ranked number 3 Montana State this weekend, which just happens to be Jahari Martin's alma mater, and he's ready for his return to Bozeman.
Spent 4 years there, did my due diligence, helped out where I could, and you get the chance to go show people what you could have done or what they could have had, just a chance to prove myself right or what I could do.
When Martin takes the field, he'll be out there with a chip on his shoulder, but managing those emotions will be a key to success.
During my process of picking Maine, this is one of the deciding factors, seeing Montana State for week 2. Emotional-wise, we've been talking to the coaches all week, just trying to keep that at bay and not get too high.
He's going there as a Maine Black Bear to win, to compete, to be a great teammate. But certainly the emotions of the game and all that, he's trying to temper that throughout the week.
He knows Bobcat Stadium is one of the toughest places to play in the FCS, but recognizes his team's opportunity at hand.
It's going to be 20,000 plus. They're going to be loud. They're going to be rowdy. They're going to be excited. It's the first home game, home opener. I think this is a great week to show the country what Maine can do.
Reporting from Orono, Jack Webb, ABC 7, Fox 22 Sports.
Thanks for that, Jack. Looking forward to that one. Let's stay with the University of Maine now. It was also a great opening weekend for Maine field hockey. The Black Bears opened the year on the road with 3 tough games and came out with 2 wins and 1 loss. They started the season with the top-ranked team in the country from Northwestern. They fell in that game despite playing really well and moved on to defeat UMass and then Indiana in their next 2. Maine has a lot of new players on the roster this year, including transfers with a ton of experience. So there's always the question of how will it all work out? And it turns out the answer is just fine.
And I think we've had a really successful preseason with developing our team culture has been really important. We've really bonded and clicked on and off the field at the moment, which is really good, and we're just coming up with a lot of good plays on the field, which has been exciting.
And I think that's what I've learned in all 3 games is just the work ethic and the grittiness of the team and their willingness to defend and work hard for each other. I think there was a lot of good things that happened on opening weekend and a lot to build for, moving forward.
The Black Bears are back home this weekend, gearing up for Hofstra on Friday and Central Michigan on Sunday. Two really good teams, but also two good chances to improve to 4-1 after 2 weekends of the season. And with some early success, Maine is feeling loose and confident as they get ready for that home opener.
Oh my gosh, it's amazing. The team morale right now is great, and we're just we're buzzing. We couldn't be more excited yesterday at the airport in Indiana. We're just so excited about it. Yeah, we've had a really good time working together and building, so it's really great to be able to see it come to fruition.
All right, moving on now to some Patriots. We are 1 day away from NFL kickoff and just 4 days away from the New England Patriots opening up their 2024 season. New England opens the year with the Cincinnati Bengals on the road on Sunday. Late last week, Gerard Mayo announcing that veteran Jacoby Brissett will be the Patriots' starting quarterback for the season. Brissett, who was voted a captain by his teammates, is in his second stint with the Patriots, being drafted here back in 2018 in the Brady era. He's been around the block since starting one game with the Pats that season and says the way he's learned the game has been a huge area of growth for him.
I think it just comes with, learning and growing as a player, and kind of, you got to kind of like put your ego to the side. It's like, oh, you can't make every throw, every play. Some of those plays call for you to check the ball down. Some of those plays call for you to throw the ball away and not force things. And, and obviously learning that throughout my years of playing, I think that plays a part in it.
All right, looking forward to that and wishing all of our high school sports athletes luck. The 2024-25 season begins on Thursday. That is all the time we have for sports. We'll be right back.
Meet Stacy at Sheer Haven in Bangor. Whether you're looking for a total transformation, want to try the newest trend, or just need an expert opinion on hairstyle, Stacy is up for the task. For 15 years with a passion for custom cuts and colors, Stacy makes getting your hair done the perfect experience from start to finish.
I lived and worked in Maine most of my life, and now I'm getting by on Social Security. People like me are struggling to heat the house in the winter. Energy prices are out of control, and it's devastating for seniors. But Jared Golden voted for Biden and Harris's tax that raises heating prices even higher. It's outrageous. The liberals changed Congressman Golden. He's leaving Mainers out in the cold.
Restoration PAC is responsible for the content of this advertising.
Whether you have a $15,000 fender bender or a surgery case worth $1 million, call the Twos.
I walked away from my car accident with minor injuries, but I called the Twos and they still got me $23,000.
I needed multiple surgeries after my accident with a big truck. I called the Twos, and Lowry and Associates got me $700,000.
Big cases and small, we handle them all. Call us. We win for you.
If you're hurt in an accident, what do you do? Call 222-2222.
Oversharing can be spiritual.
Name someone you had a romantic dream about.
My minister.
Praise the Lord, Pastor.
It can be loving.
You love to plant a big wet kiss on Steve Harvey's what?
Lips.
Your lips ain't big enough for these lips.
It can be wet.
Name someone who has touched your bare bottom.
The pool guy.
Overshare with Family Feud.
Weeknights at 7 on Fox 22.
Meet Stacy at Sheer Haven in Bangor. Whether you're looking for a total transformation, want to try the newest trend, or just need an expert opinion on hairstyle, Stacy is up for the task. For 15 years with a passion for custom cuts and colors, Stacy makes getting your hair done the perfect experience from start to finish.
The Pet of the Week, brought to you by First National Bank. Are you ready to turn your dreams into reality? Look no further than First National Bank, your genuine Maine community bank.
Well, welcome back, everyone. It's time for our Pet of the Week segment. Catherine Ravenscraft joining us once again from Bangor Humane Society. Good morning.
Good morning.
Thanks for coming in.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
You got some cute little fuzzy bundles of joy here.
Oh my gosh, guinea pig days are
You love
almost
guinea
my
pigs,
favorite.
don't you?
I love guinea pigs. I wish that I could have guinea pigs, but my two dogs will not allow guinea pigs in my house. But yeah, so this is Dorothy and Rosie, and I'm so sorry, audience. I don't know which one is which. But I think they might be named after the Golden Girls. I can't be sure of that. But yeah, I don't think that we've had Dorothy and Rosie very long. And obviously they are a bonded pair, and so they need to go home together.
Yeah.
But this is They are used to being handled, as you can tell. They always run around when you try to rope them in in the kennel. But they're both pretty used to being handled, and they're both pretty chill. So
yeah, this gal has just been sitting on my knee here for the last 5 minutes or so, hasn't really moved, and very, very relaxed. She's making these cute little sounds every now and then, little chirping sounds.
I love guinea pig sounds. I heard all the horror stories about parents being kept up at night by their kids' guinea pigs, but it just wouldn't have bothered me if my kids had guinea pigs. They do make all sorts of little chirping noises, and they can squee, and
it's cute.
It's so cute. Yeah. Well, you know, dogs bark and cats meow, and guinea pigs make all of their noises. Yeah. But I always say that it's easy to forget that small animals really are a pretty high maintenance pets.
Yeah.
They need a lot of care in terms of their kennels being cleaned. They need to have a very specific diet so that they stay healthy. Lots of hay, make sure that they're well watered, not too much fruit because too much sugar is bad for them. And always, if they can have a friend, just like bunnies, they're happier that way.
Yeah, they're a family pet. They like to have their own little family.
Exactly, exactly. And you also want to make sure that you give them space to exercise. Them having a kennel is great, but having a little floor time and an exercise pen and lots of time socializing, the more you handle a small animal, the more it's going to be willing to be handled.
Yeah, well, these guys are fun too. You know, you don't want to just put them in an aquarium or something. You know, you want to play with them.
I know. I would snuggle with them all the time. I would be a crazy guinea pig lady with one on my shoulder or something. I just love them.
They are a commitment, though, just like any other pet. You got to be serious about it when you do it.
It's
you
true.
Know, they need care.
It's true. I always say, who's the buck going to stop with? So if you are looking at a pet, any kind of pet, to maybe help your children get used to having pets, please be the one that's going to be responsible for the pet. Yeah.
Makes sense.
Exactly.
Well, hopefully somebody out there has some rooms for these little babies at their homes. They're so cute. And you know what? I never realized they have a cute little tummy too. Just a soft little, it's like a little puppy tummy almost.
It
you know?
is.
You're very cute.
They're the sweetest.
Yeah. How's everything else going over there? I hear that shelters all around the state are full of cats right now. Is that the case over there?
Everyone is full. We're full. It's full on kitten season right now. So we've got quite a few cats, and dogs continue to be the sort of challenge in animal welfare nationally right now. As you were saying, a pet is a huge commitment, and I think that there's a lot of reasons for why people aren't adopting dogs right now. So please, if you are in a position to adopt, that's what we need the most help with right now.
Meantime, there's always chances to volunteer at your local shelter.
Absolutely.
You can use things like blankets, food, anything like that.
Yeah, we do actually need wet cat food right now. So if anyone out there wants to donate wet cat food, we will put it to use.
All right. Well, Catherine, thank you for coming in again. It's nice to meet Dorothy and Rosie. I think this one's Rosie. She just looks like a Rosie to me or something.
Maybe. This one's a little more serious, so maybe you're right. Yeah.
She's very cute. Nice to meet you, little buddy. All right, we're going to send things back over to Conrad for another check of the forecast, and I'm going to play with a guinea pig. Very cute.
All right, we started out the morning back in the 50s out there for today. Rockland around 51, that was your cooler spot. Then by Bar Harbor around 53. Machias, you once again tied with Rockland for today, one of the cooler temps back in those lower 50s. Now, average highs, let's talk about that, right? Should be right around 75 degrees. So for today, we're going to be well above average, close to 80. Nice and toasty tomorrow, closer to average, which is Friday. Weekend, knocking on our door. Speaking of the weekend, temperatures around 70 degrees right into Monday. By Tuesday into Wednesday, finally, things will start to warm up, and we're talking low to mid 70s, making a massive return back in our forecast. Now, the South, once again, is seeing those scattered showers in their region, even a couple of thunderstorms, but non-severe, which is a good sign. Florida, look at that, close to Orlando, Tampa as well. You're looking at some scattered showers. None of that will be in our area. For us, we got to wait up until Saturday to get some showers in our forecast. In into Sunday as well. So we have a couple more days of nice weather. Of course, today into tomorrow, we are in the clear, and then lots of rain, especially off the coast. You see all these colors? That's indicating some even moderate to heavy rainfall, but most of this will be off the coast and in the ocean. Now, rainfall-wise, though, not much the next 5 days. Maybe up to 1/10 of an inch of rain all over the area. Other than that, most of that rain will be well offshore. Now, take a look at this. See all these colors, these blue-purple colors indicating well over 1 inch of rain in some spots, and a lot more than that right off our coast. Now, Muggy Meter, pretty comfortable out there for today, right through Friday, even through Saturday. It's going to be a bit comfortable, starting to rise slightly by Sunday morning, but no worries. It'll go right back down into comfortable levels, and that will continue to stick around Monday into that Tuesday time frame. Now, UV index for today, once again, it's going to be at a 6, which is a high. Average skin will begin to burn around 30 minutes, so please be careful out there. Of course, we've seen much worse UV indexes in the past. We are at the end of summer, but still, it is summer, and that UV index is at a high. Now, speaking of that UV index for today, that's because it's going to be sunny and temperatures around 80 degrees. We will see a little bit more of a gusty wind out of the south-southwest up to even 20 miles per hour. For tonight, though, around 50 degrees, mostly clear skies, some patchy fog in the area, just a light breeze. For tomorrow, though, a bit cooler. Mid-70s outside, closer to average, mostly sunny skies, a little bit of a breezy condition. Not too bad, nothing to worry about. Our extended forecast outlook is showing a few sprinkles out there for Saturday. More of that heavier rain will be Saturday night into Sunday.
What do you call a no-show at work?
A deadbeat.
Someone who'd jack up costs for seniors.
Dead wrong.
What do you call both?
Austin Terrio.
Terrio skipped work, still took his paycheck. Now he wants to go to Congress. But there he'll give power to politicians who want to cut the Social Security and Medicare Mainers earned. Then let big insurance charge seniors 5 times more for care. No-show, Terrio?
No way.
Just no. HMP is responsible for the content of this ad.
I called Joe Bornstein's office for a free case evaluation. They helped me with a car accident. I was injured, and so was my dog. They helped me with getting my vet bills reimbursed, my medical bills reimbursed, and going above and beyond, doing more than I had ever expected. They were kind, pleasant, and understanding through it all. The law offices of Joe Bornstein made the process so easy, I would absolutely recommend them.
Call Joe today for a free case evaluation. There's never a fee unless you win.
For taking on New England's extreme conditions, Toyota has more hybrid all-wheel drive or four-wheel drive models than any other brand. No wonder Toyota has sold 5 times more hybrids than its nearest competitor, like the quick and powerful RAV4 hybrid with up to a 566-mile total driving range. Take on extreme conditions with Toyota's proven hybrid technology. See your New England Toyota dealer, your hybrid all-wheel drive headquarters. Toyota, let's go places.
Another morning to savor the crunchy nooks and cranny splendor of a Thomas's English muffin.
Tom, which is a nook and which is a cranny?
That's a nook, cranny, 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 nook, cranny. I mean, they should be teaching you this in school.
Huzzah! A toast to breakfast. When My Mechanic Company wants to know the local forecast, they log on to foxbangor.com. My Mechanic Company, located in Carmel, is your go-to for auto repair. Whether you need brakes, tires, diagnostics, or a state inspection, My Mechanic has you covered. Come see why My Mechanic should be your mechanic.
We are only 57 days away from the Night of the Great Pumpkin, aka Halloween, and ABC's Danny New caught up with the artist who could be described as a living legacy to Peanuts creator Charles Schulz.
What is it that makes Charles Schulz's Peanuts so special? Is it the relatability of Charlie Brown or the relaxed wit of Snoopy? Well, if you ask artist Tom Everhart,
wasn't his storyline, it was his line that caught my eye.
Yes, the emotive expression of the little black lines that outline these iconic images. And Tom would know, not only was he friends with Peanuts creator Charles Schulz for decades, but
I was the only one that he had ever actually taught. In fact, after we met, he took me into his studio and we drew lines for like 6 hours.
Fast forward to today, and Tom is currently on a fine art tour displaying some of his own creations using the characters and principles he learned with Schulz. But as you heard, over the course of 20 years, Tom and his mentor worked side by side, building a close relationship as they experimented with how the slightest changes in a line could alter the whole scene. For example, if we take a look at Lucy.
There are certain lines in her hair and her dress that can make you feel sad or make you feel attentive.
Eventually, Tom would help Schultz with publications you've probably seen, like the integration of Peanuts with MetLife, covers of magazines, and even this Just Say No poster for then First Lady Nancy Reagan. In fact, the latter apparently resulted in a feud over punctuation.
He was a stickler on English, and he said it has to say, just say, quotation marks, comma, no, and then quotation marks. And Nancy Reagan was livid.
But their friendship took on new meaning when Tom was suddenly fighting for his life. In 1988, he was diagnosed with stage 4 colon cancer, and he says Schultz's instruction played a major role in his fight.
I was so in love with what I was learning from him.
But it wasn't until 12 years later, when Schultz was fighting the same kind of cancer, that Tom would finally tell his hero just how much all of those lines and their friendship had meant to him.
And that was the first time I'd ever told him that. That was our last conversation. I credit him for saving my life.
Danny New, ABC News, New York.
And that is the news for this hour. We thank you so much for joining us. I'll be back here at noon on ABC 7 with all the latest news. Hope to see you then. In the meantime, we hope you have a wonderful day.
Today on 25 Words or Less, you know her from, come on, it's this. You've seen her on this is where you know her from, and that's it. It's Melissa Peterman.
Here all the time.